Okay.
I'm going to call you an ambulance, okay, sir?
Okay.
Lawrence Taylor is now hospitalized after a lifetime of destructive choices, and the truth behind his downfall is finally coming out.
I said, that man told me he's gonna kill me.
NFL icons are opening up about the chaos, both on and off the field, and what they're saying about LT isn't pretty. Let's break down how the greatest linebacker in NFL history completely destroyed himself when crack took control. Lawrence Taylor arrived in New York as the first overall pick in 1981. The Giants were the doormat of the NFL, having not won a home game against Philadelphia since 1972. Taylor changed that immediately.
His first scrimmage, I can remember talking to Ray Perkins after the scrimmage, and he was asking me what I thought, and I remember my exact words. I said, Ray, we got to get this guy in the game right now.
His rookie season ended with Defensive Rookie of the Year honors. The kid from Williamsburg, Virginia had arrived, but cocaine arrived with him.
My rookie year was the first time I had got exposed to drugs.
Taylor first tried cocaine at a party during his rookie year in 1981. His wife, Linda, discovered white powder in their apartment. She believed his excuse that it belonged to a roommate. By his third season, Taylor had graduated to crack cocaine. He admitted to smoking up to an ounce a day. The drug controlled everything. The contradiction defined his career. Taylor played at superhuman levels while destroying himself off the field. During the 1985 season, he used cocaine 3 times a week or more at home games.
There were times I'd be standing in the huddle, and instead of thinking what defense we were playing, I'd be thinking about smoking crack after the game.
It didn't affect my play.
To beat NFL drug tests, teammates gave him their urine. The system worked until 1987, when he failed his first test and received a warning. In 1988, he failed again. The NFL suspended him for 30 days. A third strike would end his career. Taylor stayed clean for 5 years, terrified of permanent banishment, but he admitted later that he looked forward to retirement so he could use drugs again. The 1990 season brought Taylor's second Super Bowl ring. Bill Parcells resigned afterward. Taylor retired in 1993, telling no one his real reason. The day after his final game in 1994, Taylor smoked crack. Without NFL drug testing, his life spiraled completely out of control. Taylor's post-retirement addiction turned his home into what he described as a crack house. He knocked a hole in his wall for easier movement between rooms. The NFL legend spent his days surrounded by dealers, addicts, and prostitutes. The money disappeared fast. Taylor estimated spending thousands of dollars daily on crack and women. He admitted to calling up to 6 prostitutes a day, spending about $1,000 daily on escort services alone.
He tells all about his life as a strung-out junkie, spending thousands of dollars a day, every day, on crack and women.
His marriage to Linda collapsed. She filed for divorce in 1996 after years of watching him disappear for days at a time.
It just sucks that when you make promises and you don't keep them, or, you disappear for days at a time, it's kind of like, dang, where's that guy that we love so much?
The arrest started in 1996. In May, police arrested Taylor in Myrtle Beach during an undercover drug sting. He tried to buy $100 worth of crack cocaine while in town for a celebrity golf tournament. He posted a $5,000 bond and walked out. The charge disappeared through a pretrial intervention program. Taylor completed 60 hours of community service and avoided jail time. Weeks later, New Jersey police arrested him for leaving the scene of a one-car accident on I-80. He had crashed into a median, left the scene, and was later found at a hotel. Officers charged him with failure to report the accident and driving with a suspended license. In June 1997, Taylor pleaded guilty in federal court to filing a false 1990 income tax return. He had failed to report approximately $48,000 in income from his failed LT Sports Club in East Rutherford, New Jersey. That year, he had earned $1.39 million. May 1998 brought another arrest. Police picked him up in a deadbeat parents' roundup for failing to pay child support. A friend paid approximately $6,000 to secure his release after 10 hours in custody. The drug arrests continued. In September 1998, police found drug paraphernalia in a New Jersey hotel room co-registered to Taylor. A housekeeper discovered a butane torch and items for smoking crack. 1 month later, the Florida arrest ended his denial. On October 19, 1998, police arrested Taylor at approximately 2 a.m. in a St. Petersburg beach hotel room. He had allegedly bought $50 worth of crack from an undercover officer. Police found paraphernalia in the room. Taylor posted $15,500 bail and claimed police had set him up. He said officers prodded him after he repeatedly said no, but the pattern was clear. This was his second drug arrest in 2 months.
Taylor was arrested during a drug sting in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina last night.
My life was on the way down, and it was on the way down fast.
The court system forced Taylor into rehab. He had been there before in 1986, spending just 3 days before checking himself out. He returned in 1995, twice without success. This time felt different because prison waited if he failed.
I went through several rehabs. I didn't get it on the first time. Matter of fact, it took me 3 times to get it and understand it and how to stay sober.
Taylor entered the Honesty House in late October 1998. He planned to stay 30 days and leave. His counselor saw through him.
After 30 days, my counselor came to me. He said, well, why don't you do another 30 days? But this time you do it my way.
The extra 32 days changed everything. Taylor participated in meetings, got a roommate, and listened for the first time. In November 1998, Taylor filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy to avoid foreclosure on his $605,000 Upper Saddle River, New Jersey home. He owed approximately $350,000 on the house and listed debts around $350,000 total. His promotional work income had plummeted to $50,000 to $100,000 per year from previous millions. The business failures compounded his financial ruin. In 1993, Taylor launched All Pro Products, which went public at $5 per share and quickly tripled. His stake briefly reached an estimated $10 million value at $16.50 per share. He never sold. The company failed due to fraud by brokers at Hanover Sterling and Company who manipulated the stock through short-selling schemes. Taylor lost several $100,000. In April 2000, federal court sentenced Taylor to 3 months of house arrest, 5 years of probation, and 500 hours of community service for the tax issues. He avoided jail but faced random drug testing, financial disclosures, and electronic monitoring. Taylor claimed sobriety after leaving the Honesty House in 1999. He was voted into the Football Hall of Fame that year. At his induction, he reconciled with former teammate Harry Carson after a 5-year rift. The sobriety held for 11 years. Then May 6, 2010 brought the arrest that defined Taylor's post-football life. How a legend became an offender. Police arrested Lawrence Taylor at a Holiday Inn in Montebello, New York, after allegedly paying $300 for sex with a 16-year-old runaway girl. The girl had been forced into prostitution by a pimp named Rashid Davis, who faced separate trafficking charges. Police were alerted after the girl's uncle contacted authorities.
This morning, we arrested Lawrence Taylor. He will shortly be arraigned on a felony rape in the 3rd degree.
The charges were severe: 3rd-degree rape, patronizing a prostitute, sexual abuse, criminal sexual act, and endangering the welfare of a child. Taylor claimed he believed she was 19 and cooperated with police. He was released on $75,000 bail.
Earlier this day at 1 o'clock, our victim was delivered to the Holiday Inn here in the town of Ramapo.
The victim had been reported missing from the Bronx in March. She was 15 years old then, 16 at the time of the incident.
Our victim had previously been reported as a runaway. She was reported missing in Bronx, New York in March of this year. Her age at that time was 15.
In a federal complaint related to the pimp's case, Taylor admitted to engaging in sex acts and paying the girl. On January 13, 2011, he pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanors: sexual misconduct and patronizing a prostitute. He admitted under oath to having sex with the 16-year-old, knowing her age made consent impossible under New York law, where the age of consent is 17. On March 22, 2011, the court sentenced Taylor to 6 years probation, a fine between $1,400 and $2,000, and required registration as a sex offender. He received a Level 1 classification, meaning low risk of re-offense, no jail time. Harry Carson stood by his friend throughout the ordeal.
I found out that he was going to do the plea thing, and I said, I'm going to be there. He didn't know I was coming, and when he saw me, that was when I knew I did the right thing.
Taylor addressed the incident publicly with his characteristic bluntness.
If you tell me you a certain age and, well, I'm not a horse trader. I'm not going to open your mouth and count how many teeth you got.
The sex offender registration followed him to Florida, the consequences compounded. In September 2016, Taylor crashed his Bentley into a stopped motorhome on Florida's Turnpike and sideswiped a Florida Highway Patrol vehicle.
I'm going to give you a citation for that, but in the meantime, I've completed my crash investigation, and Trooper Caneo is going to take over and do an investigation for DUI.
Taylor failed field sobriety tests. His breathalyzer results hours later measured 0.082 and 0.084, above Florida's 0.08 legal limit. He reportedly reeked of alcohol and cigars and appeared confused about his location. The trooper called for medical assistance when Taylor's condition deteriorated during the stop.
Okay. I'm going to call you an ambulance, okay, sir? Okay. 1246.
In 2017, Taylor pleaded guilty to DUI causing injury and property damage. The court sentenced him to 1 year probation, 9-month license suspension, ignition interlock device for 6 months, approximately $1,500 fine, and 75 hours community service. The sex offender registry violation started in December 2021. Police arrested Taylor in Broward County for failing to update his residence with authorities as required by his 2011 registration. He was held briefly and released on bond. Taylor and his attorneys described it as a mix-up related to his divorce. He pleaded not guilty. In July 2024, Taylor turned himself in on a felony warrant for the same violation. He was released on bail with no initial bond requirement. He pleaded not guilty again. In August 2024, Broward prosecutors dropped the felony charges. As of early 2026, Taylor remains on the Florida Sex Offender Registry with his 2011 adjudication noted. The pattern of self-destruction that began in 1981 never fully stopped. Each arrest represented another failure to control impulses that had controlled him since his rookie year. The greatest defensive player in NFL history could not defend himself from himself. Superman's kryptonite. The physical toll became visible during Taylor's playing career. He admitted to drinking Johnny Walker Black daily and challenging himself by going out all night before 1 p.m. games.
I wanted to challenge myself, so I was out all night. I'd be out all night drinking and stuff, and the game starts at 1 o'clock. I get there around 12.
His teammates witnessed the chaos. Bill Belichick once tried to install pass rush schemes while Taylor slept under a table wearing dark sunglasses. When confronted, Taylor stood up, watched 2 plays of film, drew up the entire pass rush scheme for the game, and went back to sleep.
We were in a different era in sports, so it was the 80s, okay? So let's just preface it. Nightlife was a little different in the 80s, okay?
That's how you know you're gonna get a good story.
Carl Banks told the story with a mixture of admiration and disbelief.
Our coach, our defensive line coach, Lamar Leachman, is drawing up the pass rush, and you could just see him getting more and more upset because he's circling Lawrence and he's doing certain things and he shows the film. And at a certain point, he was just so fed up because Lawrence was out cold.
Banks continued.
He cuts the lights on and he's dropping a few expletives. So Lawrence sits up. He's like, what?
Here's where it gets crazy.
So Lawrence says, okay, just cut the film on. Got up, took the chalk, drew up our entire pass rush scheme for the game.
Phil Simms described Taylor as a savant who could do anything: golf, basketball, throwing a football into the second tier of the stadium. Taylor carried large amounts of cash and bet on everything.
He was a savant. I mean, he was. I heard stories that he would be sleeping through certain team meetings, and then they'd wake him up and he'd know every play.
Yes, that's true.
The stories grew darker. Taylor admitted to sending prostitutes to opposing teams' hotel rooms before games to tire them out. Phil Simms confirmed hearing those stories but couldn't tell many of them publicly. A golf trip turned into another story about Taylor's recklessness. Simms watched Taylor drive 90 to 100 miles per hour down the turnpike. A policeman pulled up beside them on his microphone and told them to slow down. The officer recognized Taylor and drove away. Taylor floored it again. Taylor threw his dip out the window. They heard ding, ding, ding. His Super Bowl ring had come off and was lost on the road. The New York City nightlife consumed him. Taylor rolled with Bruce Willis, Mike Tyson, Whitney Houston, and Eddie Murphy. Darryl Strawberry described the scene.
It was LT, Tyson, the Mets, the Yankees wasn't even talked about in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, we controlled the city in the 80s, those years. So my 8 years there, after my rookie year.
Mike Tyson showed up at Shea Stadium in 1986 wanting to meet the Mets. He became part of the New York family, but Taylor was the king. His wife Linda saw a different side. She watched him disappear for days. When he was home, He was just physically present, itching to leave. The children suffered most. Taylor wrote letters to his daughter Tanisha from rehab in 1998, acknowledging his failures as a father.
Dear Tanisha, I know you think that I don't love you, but you're wrong. There is no way that I could ever stop loving you.
I know you might be upset about your mom and myself not being together.
Taylor admitted he regretted how he lived. He wished he had been a better husband and father, but he lived with his choices. The honesty was brutal.
I say to myself, look where you're at now, or look what you have achieved. Could you have done it better? Now, if I would have gone home every day, if I would have go to the gym every day, if I didn't drink Johnny Walker Black every day, could I have been better?
Taylor knew exactly how he had destroyed his potential and his family. He knew what he could have been if he had controlled himself, but crack cocaine controlled him instead, getting up just to fall again. Taylor's post-football years oscillated between recovery and relapse, redemption and failure. The sex offender case in 2010 represented his lowest public moment, but the private struggles continued longer. His reflections on addiction revealed a man who understood his disease, but remained powerless against certain impulses. Speaking at A Forever Recovery, Taylor described sobriety as something no one could take from him except himself.
It got to a point, that sobriety was my thing. That was something that nobody could take away from me except myself.
He explained that rehab doesn't erase problems created during addiction. Sobriety just means facing those problems without drugs.
You think, okay, I will change everything. My whole life will change when I'm no longer an addict. But guess what? It doesn't really change.
The DUI arrest in 2016 suggested Taylor's sobriety had failed again. The breathalyzer results, the confusion, the medical emergency during the traffic stop all pointed to ongoing substance issues. Eric Dickerson told a story from 1983 that revealed Taylor's intimidation tactics. During Dickerson's rookie season, the Rams ran a play where Dickerson had to block Taylor. The coaches warned him Taylor would have to get his hands down.
They come in and say, hey, Eric, we have a play where you have to block Lawrence Taylor. I'm like, what?
Dickerson cut Taylor during the play. Taylor grabbed him by the arm afterward. He threatened to kill him. Dickerson went to the sideline terrified.
I said, that man told me he's gonna kill me and don't cut him. I say, no, I'm gonna get Bruce. I say, Bruce.
The same intensity that made Taylor great on the field destroyed him off it. He couldn't moderate, he couldn't stop, he couldn't control impulses that drove him to dominance and ruin simultaneously. His 60 Minutes interview in 2003 showed a man wrestling with his legacy. He broke down crying when the interviewer read what his son TJ said about him at his Hall of Fame induction. Lawrence Taylor every time.
I love my father. I'd do anything for him just as well as he would anything for me or my sisters Whitney, Tanisha, Paula. If I pick anybody to be my father, I'd pick Lawrence Taylor every time.
Taylor couldn't speak for 30 seconds. The interviewer read Taylor's own words about getting back up after being knocked down. Taylor thanked God for his kids and friends who didn't let him go by the wayside. But the pattern of getting up and falling down again never stopped. The financial destruction matched his personal destruction. The bankruptcy in 1998 revealed debts around $350,000 in income that had plummeted from millions to $50,000 to $100,000 per year from promotional work. The All-Pro product stock that briefly made him worth $10 million disappeared through broker fraud. The tax issues, child support arrears, and legal fees compounded. Taylor's life became a cautionary tale about athletic talent. Without discipline, wealth without wisdom, fame without foundation. He admitted in 2012 interviews that he had long-term issues with self-discipline and managing his life. The personality that fueled on-field success created off-field chaos. The sex offender registration followed him everywhere. The registry violations in 2021 and 2024 showed he struggled to comply with basic requirements. Though prosecutors dropped the 2024 felony charges, Taylor remained on Florida's registry with his 2011 adjudication noted. Rock bottom at 67. On April 20th, 2026, Lawrence Taylor experienced a medical emergency and was taken to a New Jersey hospital. The 67-year-old was later transferred to a different section of the facility for further care. By April 28th, sources confirmed Taylor was being treated for pancreatitis, inflammation of the pancreas that causes severe abdominal pain. The condition is often linked to gallstones, heavy alcohol use, or other factors. Taylor had been open about his history of alcoholism and substance issues. His attorney, Mark Eiglarsh, issued a statement confirming hospitalization for about a week. The condition did not appear life-threatening. Taylor remained under medical observation and showed signs of improvement, but had no determined discharge date. Taylor expressed gratitude for prayers and support. The hospitalization came 28 years after Taylor claimed sobriety following his 1998 rehab stint, but the 2016 DUI arrest suggested relapses. Pancreatitis can result from long-term heavy alcohol use, which Taylor admitted spanned decades. The medical emergency forced reflection on a life defined by extremes. Taylor changed football forever. He forced offenses to redesign blocking schemes, popularized the one-back offense, and made the outside linebacker position the most feared defensive role in the NFL. Teams gave him number designations in their game plans because stopping him required special attention. But greatness on the field meant nothing against addiction's power. Taylor won 2 Super Bowls, earned 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and made 10 straight Pro Bowls. He was the 1986 NFL MVP, the only defensive player to win the award in the modern era. None of that protected him from crack cocaine. The drug controlled when he slept, when he woke, when he spent money, where he went. It controlled everything.
It tells you when to get up. It tells you when to sleep. It tells you,
when to spend your money. When to go to the bank.
It tells you everything.
Taylor admitted that football was easier than life. All the things he accomplished in football came naturally. Being a better person, husband, or father proved impossible.
Football is always easier than life in general. It's easier than anything else.
All the things I've done in my life, there is nothing I do better than play the game of football.
The word he used was cuss. Taylor knew exactly how people saw him. The greatest defensive player ever and a cuss. A legend and a sex offender. A Hall of Famer and a crackhead. He described life as constantly knocking him down, but climbing back up. The crime wasn't being knocked down. The crime was not getting up again.
Life can knock you down. No matter how many times it knocks you down, a Hall of Famer realizes that the crime is not being knocked down. The crime is not getting up again.
Taylor spoke those words in 2011, the year he pleaded guilty to sexual misconduct and patronizing a 16-year-old prostitute. He spoke them knowing he had destroyed his marriage, failed his children, wasted millions of dollars, and spent years in crack houses. He spoke them as a registered sex offender on probation. The pancreatitis hospitalization in 2026 represented another knockdown. Whether Taylor gets up again remains unknown. He has climbed back before from drug arrests, bankruptcy, divorce, and public humiliation. Each time he returned to sobriety, something pulled him back down. The tragedy isn't that Lawrence Taylor fell from greatness. The tragedy is that greatness never protected him from falling. His talent elevated him above every linebacker who ever played. His addiction reduced him below the level of ordinary self-control. Taylor changed football and destroyed himself simultaneously. The same fearlessness that made him throw his body at running backs made him throw his life at drugs. The same intensity that drove him to 10 Pro Bowls drove him to crack houses. The same inability to quit that defined his Hall of Fame career defined his addiction. He remains on Florida's sex offender registry. He remains sober according to his last public statements, though the 2016 DUI suggests otherwise. He remains proud of what he achieved on the field while regretting what he destroyed off it. Lawrence Taylor revolutionized linebacker play and ruined his own life. He is the greatest defensive player in NFL history and a cautionary tale about talent without discipline, success without self-control, greatness without peace. The pancreatitis that hospitalized him in April 2026 came from decades of choices that began the day he tried cocaine at a party in 1981. 45 years of destruction compressed into one inflamed organ. The medical emergency wasn't random, it was inevitable. Taylor once said sobriety is not the end of the world, but the beginning of the way. Whether he continues walking that way or falls again will determine if his story ends in redemption or final ruin. For now, he remains what he has always been. The best linebacker who ever lived, and the man who couldn't stop destroying himself. Like this video? Click on the card showing on your screen for more.